If you've been watching the channel the last few weeks, you probably know I quartered the butt log off of this big white fir. My dad yarded them out over here to where they're easier to get to. He decided they are still too big, even quartered, for his LT10 sawmill. He was talking about loading these into the back of his Ford Ranger, hauling them one at a time down the hill to his LT15 sawmill, which would handle these a whole lot better. But it's a lot of weight for a Ranger, and it's a long way down the hill to do them one at a time. I suggested, why don't I just bring my dump trailer up here? It has plenty of weight capacity. We might be able to fit all 4 of them in it. But if you remember a video from a few weeks ago, the road up here has only been maintained for Rangers and Jeeps, not for large vehicles. I don't know when the last time anyone's had a trailer up here. Might have been me about 10 years ago. It's a 3.5 mile road, gains about 2,500 feet in elevation. It has some really steep spots, steep narrow spots with a drop off the other side with some tight turns. We'll continue this tomorrow. We'll do a test run in the morning, see if I can get the trailer up here, then back down unloaded before I try it with a heavy load. Then if all works out, we'll eventually show you how to load heavy logs into a trailer without a loader. Over the years, I've practiced my ability to back up to trailers. Once again, technology is making my skills obsolete. Now we get to make our way up close to the top of this mountain. This short stretch of road crosses an unstable part of the mountain. This part of the hill slides down the hill a little bit more every winter, taking the road with it. It's steeper than it looks on camera. Coming down a steep hill like this with a heavy load can get you into trouble if you're not careful. As steep as it is here, this is not the place I'm the most concerned about. Neither is this next area, but we still have a little bit of a problem here. I have to get my front end as close as I can to this log without hitting it. Then turn sharp so I don't hit the stuff in front of me, while keeping my rear tires on the other side from going down in the gully. This log has been giving me problems all summer. Even without the trailer, it doesn't give me much room to get around here without having my rear tire fall in the drink. So I'm just going to take care of it once and for all. Still hooked on to the whole tree. If I take one more round off, that'll give me another 16 inches of room. This cut's in a better place to finish the cut without getting my chain in the rocks. The culvert plugged up over here in the winter during high water. That's why it's important to keep those culverts maintained. It almost washed out the road. Now I'll be able to swing my front end way over here, keep my rear end out of this part. It did wash out the road. But this isn't the bad spot. The bad spot is still up the hill. Now we're getting to the bad spot. Put it in 4 low. The road's going to get steep, very narrow, with a near drop off on the inside of a couple turns. steeper than it looks on camera. And the mountain here has always had a leak in it. There's always water running down the road. The road here is always wet. The road is outsloped. It slopes toward the near drop off. Trying to get the trailer to hug the side of the bank here as much as I can. The goal is to get around this turn that slopes toward the steep edge without the trailer tires leading off too much and going over the edge. We are past the worst of it now. This part of the mountain's always had a really big leak in it. If I can get the trailer around this corner without it leading off too much into the edge, I think we're good. Oh yeah, I forgot about this spot. Another near drop off on the inside of a narrow turn. Just wide enough. Okay, now it's confession time. The part where the rocks were rolling down the hill, I may have staged that a little bit. But the camera wasn't showing how steep that was. I did that so you could see how steep it was. Bad YouTuber. Bad YouTuber. But that's the only thing staged about it. The next situation is this switchback. A Ford Ranger can get around it without having to back up, but a larger truck, I have to back up once, sometimes twice if I'm having an off day to get around this, because we got to go up there. It's too tight to get the trailer around. I know someone who hates this whole property just because of this switchback, which probably has less to do with the actual switchback, more to do with the steep bank on the lower side of the switchback, which really isn't that steep compared to some of the places we just came through. Okay, it is steep down there, but once you get to a certain point of steep, does steeper really matter? If you're going to tumble down a hill and die, is a steeper hill going to kill you any deader than a steep less hill? I don't know. I think this one could kill you just as dead as the one back there that's even more steep. That might be contradicting my original point that this wasn't so bad, but I don't know if I even had a point. This is curious though. What's going on here? Something scraped over here, something scraped over here, and a mound in the middle of freshly moved material. Of course, the most appropriate thing to do when you're not sure about something, you poke it with a stick. There's a wet spot right here. I thought maybe there'd be some cougar scat or something under that. I wonder if a cougar or a bobcat sprung a leak right here and buried it. I've heard debate over whether cougars bury their scat or not. I've seen a lot of cases where they don't. I had already thought about putting a trail camera back down this road. Maybe on the way back down we will. Speaking of down here, there is an alternative to that, but that would require opening up this road, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. I haven't been down here yet this year. Hopefully we can get through here. If not, it's going to be a long way backing the trailer all the way down the hill past those steep, narrow spots, or to have to back the trailer up that way to the turnaround, which might make more sense, but that comes with its own problems. I don't want to do that. This stretch of road doesn't get as brushy as it used to. The trees have grown up to where it shades the brush out now. But this stretch has always been prone to rocks rolling down from up the bank. People may wonder why I'm doing this by hand instead of having a piece of equipment here to do it. Well, it's going to take me a few minutes to do it by hand, but it might take hours to haul a piece of equipment in here from the lower part of the ranch or somewhere else if we had equipment here to haul. Now we have the truck pointed in a better direction to go up the switchback. Maybe someday I'll show you how we used to get log trucks up this road and back down this road again with a load of logs. One more major switchback, but this one has enough room to get the trailer around. The quarters are just around the corner. My dad's not up here today to help load them. We're just doing a test run up here with the trailer. Make sure it'll get up here and down. I'll take it out of four-wheel drive before I make the turn past my great-grandfather's old cabin. Making a turn when you're in four-wheel drive can dig up the ground. That makes too much dust in the driveway. Now we'll go back down to the switchback, put the trail camera out. Here at the switchback turnaround, we'll walk down the road, see if we can find a good place to hang the camera. What about this spot? Just like anyone else, animals like to follow the path of least resistance. They walk down the roads. Has a springy area right by it. It's a wide spot. It's shady. I can put it on the north side of this tree where the sun won't mess with the lens. If the camera is a little distance away from the trail, maybe bears will be less likely to notice it and tear it up. I think that may have been part of the problem with the cameras the bears tore up. The trail came along and went right next to the camera where I think the bear was able to then, I guess, smell it. Now we'll head back down the hill, past the bad spot. They say what goes up must come down. So long as the law of what goes up must come down holds true, we're likely going to make it down. The key is to make it down the road, not make it down over the bank. The camera does not show how steep this is. At least there's no rock rolling shenanigans this time.